Welcome to Modern Mystic Messages. I'm Teresa, and thank you so much for stopping by and clicking on the video. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. In any event, I'm glad you're here. And yeah, it's such a beautiful day. I had to come sit outside and get my feet down here on Mother Earth. And if you haven't been doing that, please ground. I got a grounded mat on my bed, but it is nothing like coming out and putting your bare feet on grass. Even if depending on where you live, that might not be the easiest thing to do. But if you can and weather permits or allows, get out there and put your bare feet on Mother Earth at your earliest convenience. And if you can do it regularly, please do so. But I digress because that is not what I came out here to talk about today, family. This morning, I woke up thinking, I basically heard the word apologist, and I had to make sure that it was talking about what I thought it was talking about, because truthfully, I have, with the way my algorithm works in YouTube, I have run across some of the Christian apologist material. Um, that's not exactly what I am, so I knew that wasn't something that I could definitely use. Therefore, the title that you see, because I've been thinking about what I really am, and I think I am going to go ahead and put that in the title, because truthfully, once upon a time, these are the things, I'm going to the core of the things that bothered me, that kept me silent far longer than it should have. Um, that's why I went ahead and said, like I said, heresy, blasphemy, uh, sacrilege, oh my, because those are words that used to trigger fear in people. Just to be accused of heresy or blasphemy genuinely could have gotten you unalived not so terribly far in our not so distant past. And I got to thinking about it, and I wanted to talk further about it because, like I said, when I first started hearing from Yeshua and from Lord Enki, I kind of thought I was going to be able to do a one and done. And I did that back in October, made my little video, and I'm done. No, it don't work that way. Don't work that way. Because Yeshua was feet to the ground, like I said, boots on the ground for 3 straight years of daily ministry. And they still didn't get what he was trying to tell them. So years ago, when I answered the call, I told God, as I understood it at that time, to be, if you show me what to do and equip me to do it, I will go. And now they've let me know it's time. The mission and the message ain't nothing what I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. But it does very well put me in the line of heresy. Some people will say blasphemy, and some may even say sacrilege. So I want to talk a little bit more about those before I cheerfully just jump under a label that most people don't purely understand, because truth be told, well, we'll get into that in a minute. I don't want to say what I'm about to say until we talk about the definitions. And let me get it. I gotta have my secret stash of, I don't know why well, I do know why. It's spring. I promise you I'm not crying, but my eyes have been super sensitive today, so pardon me, y'all. So I can see, I want us to get in here, do that, get these on, because I actually wrote down a few definitions just so we can all be on the same page. And these definitions, all except one, are coming from the Oxford Dictionary, and the other one comes from Merriam-Webster. When it gets down to, I got a second definition of blasphemy, but I do want to talk about these. So, heresy, and I love it. I mean, I think about the word hearsay because, truthfully, except for taking out the A, that's exactly how it's spelled. But it's a belief or an opinion contrary to orthodox religious, especially Christian, doctrines. And then doctrine, of course, is a belief or a set of beliefs held and taught by a church, political party, or other group. Dogma is a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true, a core belief system within a group whether religious, political, or scientific. Blasphemy is the act or offense of speaking sacrilegiously about God or sacred things, profane talk. That's where blasphemy gets into the gray area, because depending on how pious you decide to be with your religiosity, it's a whole lot of folks that are quick to accuse someone of blasphemy without even fully understanding the scope of what they're saying. And then because Merriam-Webster even gets looser in its definition, the act of insulting or showing contempt. Well, okay. Sacrilege is violation or misuse of what is regarded as sacred. Example, stealing from a church or vandalizing a sacred site. Now, that said, Yeshua was absolutely a heretic. Yeshua was unashamedly blasphemous. And the Christian church is some of the biggest sacrilegious folks that's ever walked the planet. They have literally adulterated, raped, stolen from, misappropriated, and defaced sacred sites all around the planet in the compilation of and the application of and the installation of their religion everywhere. So if people want to call me sacrilegious, I don't care, because the ones that define the term sacrilege are the biggest manipulators or the biggest offenders of that same offense. And again, I'm not trying to be overtly disrespectful, but in order to truly be a follower of Yeshua, by definition, you must be heretical and you must be blasphemous, because he told you right in the book the information that I've been discussing here on the channel for the last 2 or 3 weeks, reading directly from the Bible and directly from the Lost Book of Enki, have shown unequivocally that Yeshua said that the Jews and most of the people that call themselves following him got it dead wrong. They were worshiping the wrong Elohim. That's not me making it up. That's not me guessing at it. It's in plain words in the biblical text. If you don't want to listen to the Lost Book of Enki, that's fine. You're missing out on a great story, because they give a lot of context that help us understand the ways in which the biblical texts were redacted and kind of abbreviated, if you will. It gives a richer context to help you understand the scriptures. Doesn't contradict the scriptures at all. It just gives you more of the story. But the Bible tells you what Yeshua was supposed to say. And if they want to say he didn't say that, then that's fine, because there's a whole lot of accounts in there. Like I said, the deeper I go down this spiritual rabbit hole, the more I'm coming to understand that a lot of what we think are sacred texts, incontrovertible truth from God, are actually documents that were written 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 years after Yeshua walked the earth, and they fly 100% opposite of what he was saying. And that's why we're told, that's why they put that in place about not going against dogma and accusing everything to be heresy and blasphemy, and so quick to unalive you if you dared question the things they put in place. But we in 2025, y'all. We have an obligation to be the sacred rebels. That's what the whole return of the Christ is about. Y'all didn't think he was coming back physically, did you? Why would he? Why would Yeshua come back here in physical form for people to try to unalive him again? And I know they will. And if you don't think so, if you can find the information, go look up Simeon Tuco or Black Jesus Africa 1960s. There was a being, probably from another planet, who knows, came here to earth, and they had plenty of accounts. People said that they thought he was the Messiah returned. And several governmental agencies did their very level best to unalive that man. The local governments over there in Africa did, and then international ones got involved. So much so that it is said that they literally dismembered this man and dropped his limbs in various oceans. And by the time they got back to, I don't want to say which country, because again, I don't want people standing on my doorstep, but the country that was attempting to unalive him, they had invited him to come for a meeting with them. And when he got in their military planes, they literally hacked that man apart and dropped his various body parts in separate oceans. And by the time the teams that did that got back to headquarters for debriefing, he walked in the office and he told them, I'm going to leave because y'all ain't ready. And when I come back, there'll be more of us and you will not be able to unalive us all. That was in the 1960s, y'all. 60 years on the other side of that. So yes, there are going to be, we have so much extraplanetary activity that nobody wants to admit or talk about. But come on, y'all. Look at what you're looking at me on right now. 200 years ago, we were riding horses and burning pig's fat to see. And now, damn near everybody in America and at least a third of the planet is walking around with computers in their pockets. We can talk to each other from 10,000 miles away. We can get on airplanes and all the rest of that stuff. They got hovercraft, microwaves, aluminum foil, cell phones, computers, yada, yada, and now AI. Do y'all really think we didn't get some off-planet help for all of that? Come on. You know better. You know the answer to that. So for me, the idea of, and I'm sorry if I'm moving around, I'm sitting on a yoga ball, not a chair, but the idea of Yeshua coming back physically, he ain't got to show his face physically to be running the show. We couldn't even handle it. Go and look at Revelation. When they talk about the four horsemen beginning to ride and Yeshua riding them all up and Archangel Michael doing, if we looked up in the sky and saw all of that playing out, it would drive most people literally out of their minds. We ain't got to see them. All we got to do is be blessed by the beautiful work they're going to do. And truthfully, he's more effective in the unseen realms because he already promised us that Holy Spirit would be with various ones of us as a helper during these times. He is activating troops, light workers, members of God's army, if you will, from behind the scenes much more effectively than he could trying to show up in one place and ducking and dodging and hoping he got enough security around him that some Billy Badass don't try to take him out. Because unfortunately, the world we live in is just that disrespectful. Half of the world don't believe he existed and the other half don't care. Just like the folks back then, they thought he might be the Christ, and because they wasn't quite sure whether he might be the Christ or not, they didn't want to take responsibility for being the ones to actually put their hands on him. So what did they do? Did they back off and leave him alone? Nope. They delivered him to the Romans and got them to do it for him instead. And then after they were nice enough to dispatch him, they cooked up a religion around him to enslave the world with the full cooperation of the God of the Bible, Yahweh. So yeah, I'm a heretic, and so are you if you're looking for truth. Yeah, I might be blasphemous, not disrespectful, but definitely dissenting, because it's time for the lies to end. I just can't continue to go along with something because that's what grandmama told me and her grandmama told her. Because guess what? If you go back 5, 6, at the very most 10 generations, very few of us would have people that was openly following any sect of Christianity today, unless you what they call old blue blood, and you might then. But again, at this point in the game, that ain't really nothing to cling to and want to brag about, because for real, the ones that are pushing this agenda, The scriptures clearly say at the end of the ride, they will be dealt with very severely because they have intentionally misled mankind for thousands of years. That's why I was hearing, let my people go. Yahweh said that to Pharaoh when he was trying to hijack a people from himself. The nation of Israel didn't belong to him. He was trying to score land and people and all that stuff, but he never did right by them. They still over there on the other side of the world arguing and fighting and unaliving each other over Yahweh's broken promises. Hebrews 11:40 say Yahweh never kept none of his promises to nobody. What he did do is help these people, inspire them to cook up a religion based on a whole bunch of plagiarized information and hide the blood dripping off of their hands from unaliving Enki's son Yeshua, or his prophet, his emissary, however you want to call it. He called Enki his father. And at this point, I am convicted, convinced in all other ways from the information that that's absolutely who he was referring to. So whether he was his blood father or just the person who sent him forth, and he genuinely was from another dimension, sent from Barbelo, the atom of light incarnate, however it goes, that he came here on this planet. What he absolutely wasn't doing was pointing nobody to Yahweh. Absolutely not. He told the Jews, plain and simple, you do not know my Father. You worship your father, the devil. And if we trace back the etymology of words, stop trying to make words believe what they want to tell you they mean from the pulpit, because truthfully, none of us could prove any of that, because Christianity as we know it didn't come into being till 300 years after they unalived him, and the Bible as we know it just came into place 500 years ago. They know for a fact that this planet is, at least according to the Sumerian records, this life civilization on this planet is 440 something thousand years old. And you mean to tell me that the true God of everything and everybody only made himself known 500 years ago? That don't even make sense, people. I'm here to help wake people up. Now, if you don't want to hear that and you're mad right now at everything I'm saying, that's fine. Just, you can click off. I know some people are going to come with some hateful comments. I'll just delete them, because at this point in time, I'm trying to reach people that are wanting to learn and wanting to think. Two people that I love very much and are very close to me was like, you really got to talk about this. Actually, three. The brother that was at seminary is anxious for me to continue to speak on these things. My fiance, he grew up a church boy, and he was like, I never heard or knew about any of this stuff. And one of my best friends, she, fortunately, her people never really pushed religion on her, but so she wasn't familiar with the scriptures. But up until a point, she was so disillusioned with the idea of religion that she thought she was atheist. I don't think she thinks that anymore, but she just did not understand, because it, like I said, religion as Christianity as we're sold it won't make sense to a thinking person. It doesn't. I've been asking questions since I was about 7 or 8 years old, and having people tell me I was a troublemaker and being disrespectful. I got all kinds of responses, but what I never got was satisfactory answers. And that's kind of what I'm here for now, because as my clairaudience opened up, Spirit took me down that spiritual rabbit hole. And because of my religious upbringing, I've been able to connect the dots in a way that I think a lot of people don't get to. And I'm happy to share that information with you. But in any event, I'm going to get on off of here now, because I just wanted to get that out there. I know we've got a lot of folks that are new to the channel, which means that excuse me, that the algorithm is starting to algorithm a little bit. So I just want to give it a point of clarity to folks that may be new to the channel and may not understand, exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. Initially, I did have someone that had subscribed to the channel, and thank you so much for that. But they went all the way back to like my first videos that had referenced that dedication and invocation. And that's so interesting to me, because back then I did the dedication and the invocation under the Kadosh Kadosh Adonai Sabayath. At the time, I thought that I was reaching out for Yahweh still. I had not yet the handoff, if you will, hadn't happened yet. It happened shortly thereafter, right out here in this same backyard that I am sitting in now. I've had a conversation with Yahweh once I had gotten to a point where I really saw who he was. We had a whole conversation about it, and it wasn't angry or anything. It's kind of like the wizard in the Wizard of Oz. Once Toto pulled the curtain back, the jig was up. That's all. It's like, you got me, you know. And then I started working more closely with I was working with Yeshua all the time since like I said, in 2020 it really came in, because I asked if any of the ascended masters that were willing to work with me would come forward, and Yeshua and Saint Germain immediately came, and then Thoth was hard on their heels. And then, of course, Saint Germain handed me off to Master Dwal for the whole initiation, study, group, and all of that good stuff. But I have been in on that walk for 5 years now. So I'm at a point, I'm past caring whether anybody thinks I'm real. I know I'm not crazy. I know I'm not misunderstanding. I've been quiet for a long time because I wanted to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding. And I had a real healthy dose of imposter syndrome that I needed to work around. But just like it came out in the reading I did for the collective yesterday, we got to cut that out. We're all walking each other home. And there are folks out there, I can't assume that everybody knows what I know, because I know I had a very eclectic, very nerdy, very religious upbringing that a lot of people may not have necessarily had to the extent that I did. And the things that interested me may not have. And I wasn't super social, so I got time to do a whole lot of reading that a lot of folks was out there going to parties and having fun and doing all that stuff. And I ain't mad about none of that, because I'm thankful that all the little trivia that I've been collecting and carrying all this time, that there is an actual use for it, and that there are people like you all that are interested in hearing it. So it is my honor to share these things with you. So yeah, I'm the happy heretic, the blessed blasphemer, if you want, the super, the silly sacrilegious one, if that's what they want to call it, so be it. Like I said, Yeshua said, pick up your cot and follow me. And so that's what my crippled old bones is going to do. I got to follow him because I love him. And I know, I don't believe the story that they sold us, but I know that beautiful being was sent here for a reason. And I want to further spread his word. And I got to go, because I get emotional when I talk about Yeshua, because, yeah. But in any event, family, I love you. Definitely tune in later. By the time this goes up, there'll probably be a reading for the collective as well. And of course, we will get back in there with the Lost Book. I think we're on tablet 5 now. It's getting juicy. Oh Lord, but like I said, the nighttime soap opera theatrics. Oh yeah, they got some more bed hopping to do and some more other stuff. Anu done already. I mean, Alalu done bit off Anu's privates and sent him home packing, and they got him. Like I said, Alalu done already died on Mars. But if you thought the drama was over, it ain't. So we're gonna get into that later too. I love you so much, family. Peace and blessings to you. And until a little bit later, take care of yourselves. Namaste.